ideal calendar, an ideal schedule for yourself, one really cool thing to do with that is to make that a standalone calendar that can toggle on and off in your Google Calendar or your digital calendar subscription, so that you can toggle it on when you're about to accept an appointment, or you're about to say yes to something, or you're about to schedule with someone. Toggle it on, see when you're supposed to be having business development appointments, see when you're supposed to have, networking face to face, see when you said you wanted to work out, and is the appointment that's being asked of you overlapping with your goal of losing 20 pounds this quarter. Those are the sort of things those are little easy tricks that help you stick to what you're committed to and what your priorities are. I always feel like email is such a hard thing. I have little windows of time where I check my email throughout the course of the day, typically 2 to 3 times a day. And then I try to get out of my email for the remainder of the day, because truly email is just someone else's task or priority becoming your assignment, right? That's literally all an email is you get it. You didn't know it was going to come to you. It's like opening Pandora's box. You don't know what sort of surprise is going to be in there, but typically it is somebody else delegating a task, something that's important to them, onto your desk for you to do. And a lot of us live our lives just being responsive and reactive to emails versus being responsive and reactive to our own priorities first, and then filling in some of the extra gaps and the white space with emails and the priorities and things that are important to others. So that is a tip about just managing the inputs. The average person gets anywhere from 50 to 500 text messages, emails, alerts, messages on Facebook, messages on Instagram, phone calls. If you add all of those up, the average person gets at least 50 of those a day. And if it takes you a couple of seconds to just change your attention from what you were doing before to the attention of whatever that ping was that you received back to what you were doing before, if that just took a couple of seconds every time, and seconds to a minute, and you have 50 or 100 or 200 or 500 of those in a day, well, there go all of your seconds and all of your minutes. And it's not easy to, it's pretty simple to understand why we run out of time, why we feel like we're cutting it close on time, and why there just never seems to be enough time in the day, because we are being pinged and notified and alerted at a level that no generation before us has ever had to experience. And what I've noticed is like it just keeps adding on, right? Like Instagram added on now, and then now you get LinkedIn updates, you have to follow social media, now you're in broadcast channels, now you get stuff that's coming to you, like maybe you have WhatsApp, or you have Marco Polo, or TikTok or Snapchat. You've got all these different things, but we still have email, we still have voicemail, and Lord help us all, some people still have fax machines. So like, it's like, in this effort to make communication easier and faster and more efficient and more productive, we have added so many layers, and we've never removed any, that now it can like be the entire bane of our existence. It can take up an entire day without any productive activity actually occurring. So one tip is add in specific time when you're going to be checking email, responding to calls, and don't let it just be your entire day. I turn off, this is like a fun tip, I turn off pretty much all alerts on my phone, and like badges, banners, anything that pops up on either my phone or my computer, I turn all of those off. People important to me are on my favorites list, and if they call twice in a row, it will ring through. But other than that, I don't want to be like binged and pinged and notified all day long, because it gets me out of flow, right? Gets me out of focusing and deep work that I could be doing on something, because I'm constantly attention shifting or shifting statuses or states, and just like what my focus is on. So couple of tips are get rid of the distractions, get rid of the alerts, minimize things that cause you problems. If you need to go and get an app or a browser, like a website blocker that minimize it, if you need to do screen time or focus time on your phone, that will minimize the amount of time you're allowed to spend on a certain website or a certain app, because you know that like between the hours of 9 and 5, you should be focused on work, so that when you go home, you can be the most complete spouse or mother or friend or family member that you possibly can be. And what that, in order to prioritize that, you may have to make some hard decisions and say, well, I don't have time to scroll Facebook through the day anymore. And that's okay. So those are big decisions that people need to make. But hopefully when you see a disconnect between like where all your time is going and the type of life you say you want to live and the type of person you say you want to be, that will help you make some hard decisions about what needs to go. And maybe for you to create a rubric of like, how you make decisions going forward, like your rubric of saying yes, like what criteria Does something have to meet for you to be willing to say yes to it? Does it have to like spark joy? Does it have to provide income? Does it have to help your fitness or your health or longevity? Whatever the rules are, they're your own rules. There's no guidance on what those are, but making sure that you have a set of rules so that you can gauge different, there's just so much distraction in our life. Gauge distractions against those rules and make sure that they are a match for you, and then possibly do some cleaning out of the commitments that you have already made.